different than when our concert band music is like. Usually wait until the end of the piece, blah, this and that. Okay, when you hear something you like, let them know. Let's go and try that one time. Here we go. A lot of these guys stand up, give some solos. Let them know. Let them know you appreciated what they did up here. One thing I love about this group is they work hard. We only get to meet 2 days a week after school, starting from right mid-March until about now. So roughly we've only had about 14 practices in that time, and we've been able to work on 6 songs for you guys, and we hope you're going to really enjoy this. Before we get started, I wanted to make sure I show appreciation to our principal, Ms. Maggie Stoltz, and the administrators here at Lafayette High School. All right, and of course, Mr. Damon Raines and the Board of Education. If any of you are here at admin, or I think Mr. Raines is here in the audience, stand up and appreciate your support in music education here in Walker County. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get things started with Jump, Jab, and Wail. Y'all ready for some noise? play. We've heard that before, and that's always a great opportunity for our students to get improv to go. Stand up if you were one of the soloists in Jump Jive. Yeah.
The song we just played is Jump, Jive, and Wail. Jump, Jive, and Wail is a 1956 jazz swing song by Louis Prima. It first appeared in his album The Wildest and became one of his signature songs. Keely Smith, Prima's wife at the time, was one of the backup singers on the song. The song had a resurgence in popularity during the swing revival in the late 1990s.
The next song that we're playing is Take 5 by Paul Desmond. Take 5 is a jazz standard composed by Paul Desmond in 5 beat per measure, the melody relying on the blues scale with harmony E-flat minor. It was first recorded in 1959 and is the third track on Time Out by the Dave Brubeck Quartet. Frequently covered by a variety of artists, the track is the biggest selling jazz song of all time and Grammy Hall of Fame inductee.
guys know, not an easy song, but Buddy and they do great. Yeah.
Hello, there we go. All right. That was Take 5 by Paul Desmond. I hope y'all enjoyed that. This next song we'll be playing is St. James Infirmary by Joe Primrose. St. James Infirmary is an American blues and jazz standard that emerged, like many others, from folk traditions. Louis Armstrong brought the song to lasting fame through his 1928 recording on which Don Redman is named as composer. Later releases credit Joe Primrose, a pseudonym used by musician manager, music promoter, and publisher Irving Mills. The melody is 8 bars long, unlike songs in the classic blues genre where there are 12 bars. It is in a minor key and has a 4/4 time signature, but has also been played in 3/4. Go ahead, Jaden.
Moondance is a song recorded by Northern Irish singer and songwriter Van Morrison, and the title song of his third studio album, Moondance, 1970. It was written by Morrison and produced by Morrison and Louis Merenstein. Morrison did not release the song as a single until September 1977, 7.5 years after the album was released. It debuted 2 months later, where it reached number 92 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and number 91 on the US Cashbox Top 100. The single's B-side, Cold One in August, had been released in the same year on his latest album at the time, A Period of Transition. Moondance is a song that Van Morrison plays most frequently in concert.
some middle schoolers up in here. They've been working hard.
Alright, so that was Moon Dance, and the song up next is called Más que Nada. Más que Nada, which is a song written and originally recorded in 1963 by Jorge Ben, currently known as Jorge Ben Hor, on his debut album Samba Esquema Noble. The song was covered in 1966 by Sergio Mendes, becoming one of the latter's signature works. It was voted by the Brazilian edition of Rolling Stone as the 5th greatest Brazilian song. It was inducted to the Latin Grammy Hall of Fame in 2013.
I'm not sure if it was available when I was in school, but it sure is now. And we have the district honor band, but there's the jazz version of it. I'd like to recognize those who participated in the district jazz band this year. District jazz band. And we've recognized our middle schoolers who are participating. We raise your hand if you played at middle school at some point with the jazz band, right? Okay, good. Now, everyone stand up. All right, so this will be kind of fun. All right, so stand up if you've been in jazz for at least 1 year. Hey, they're here tonight. Great. All right, so whenever I get to your number, you just that you haven't been in jazz that long, you'll have a seat. So if stay standing if you've been in jazz for 2 years. 3 years. 4 years. Do we have any 5th year members? Hey! And lastly, our friends already got her hand up. Can we have our seniors? Seniors stand up. Spring concert, but this is their last official concert tonight. So let's give it up to the seniors. Also, the Benton High School Jazz Band. Take it away.
So I'm sure that many of you baseball lovers will know this one. This song we're going to play next is called Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It's a 1908 waltz song by Jack Northworth and Albert Von Tilsley, which has become an unofficial anthem of North American baseball, although neither of its authors have attended a game before writing the song. The song's chorus is traditionally sung as a part of the 7th inning stretch of a baseball game. Fans are generally encouraged to sing along, and at many ballparks, the word home team are replaced with the team name. Take Me Out to the Ball Game is one of the most 3 recognizable songs in the U.S., along with the Star Spangled Banner and Happy Birthday. However, most people are familiar with the chorus. This jazz arrangement will bring a new twist to what we would normally consider a classic. Enjoy.
supporting the Lafayette High School band program and the Lafayette High School Jazz. We hope you all have a wonderful night and drive safe. And feel free to take as many pictures. We'll have them sit down, do whatever they need. And yeah, have a great night.